I think the big picture question I'm curious about. I mean, is Hollywood out of touch? Have they lost the zeitgeist?
I think so.
When you look at, I was listening to John Campea today. You were on, Rob, and a discussion of box office came up. Someone's like, why is box office so important? It is important. You're seeing how your constituents vote on movies. What is popular? They have voted this week on Demon Slayer. Very popular franchise. But is Hollywood so out of touch that people don't want to see the new movies they make? So they'll see older films, Jaws, Back to the Future, other classic movies that are coming to theaters, or they'll see remixes of movies like Wizard of Oz in the Sphere. They'll see anime, but what Hollywood is serving up as new entertainment, they're not liking. The two biggest hits this year, surprises, Sinners and Weapons in the horror genre. But as a larger question, and I think this ties into, I'm sorry to say, current politics and Kimmel. We're going to talk about Jimmy Kimmel later, but his ratings were in the tank. It was reported he was on the verge of getting canceled even before his comments, right? Mm-hmm. So Hollywood just seems wholly out of touch. They've alienated half of America and aren't able to make a movie that appeals to everyone. We all agree, like, this is, when that happens, everyone's talking about this movie. And you were saying earlier, Steph, about like, where's the new things? Kids don't like Star Wars. They're not into Star Wars. That's old people like me. I'm sorry to say. That's what older people used to like. And we'll get to Mandalorian and Grogu, but this larger question, I want to hear everyone weighing in. Like, Hollywood has lost the zeitgeist, and it's important to see the movies that perform. That's why, look, I think box office, I don't like the box office is used as a marketing tool, right? The number one movie in the world. It's because it's the number one from money. That doesn't mean it's a good movie. But movies that resonate, that get into the zeitgeist, there's something about that. It's usually something unpredictable. Please weigh in. And thank you, Dante, for joining us.
I think we have to look at movies on a pedestal.
I was going to say, I think we have to look at movies now like there's no longer a standard, right? There's no standard. We have kind of gone past the place of the $1 billion weekend every other weekend. Right? We're never going to have that again. We're barely getting to a point now where people are even going to theaters, period. Right? I think it's a mix of a lot of things. Has Hollywood lost the zeitgeist? Sure. But it's a little bit more than that. And this is the rare time I'm going to give Hollywood a break. The rare time. We just have way too many things going on right now. We have a lot of distractions, right? We have YouTube, we have streaming, we have video games. Kids don't care. Let me say that again. Kids don't care about movies. They just don't.
Yeah.
Every now and then there'll be a special movie like Minecraft that'll come along and the kids got to go see it. But outside of that, or a Demon Slayer, outside of that, kids don't care about movies, right? Their attention span is this big. They want to see clips, and then they move on to the next clip, and then they move on to the next clip. The only people who care about movies are people our age, and we're a dying breed, right? So Hollywood's
close to that.
I'm just saying,
I'm close to death, Dante. Don't do that to me.
I'm just saying, Hollywood's in a rough place, and I don't know, even if they did their best, if they could dig themselves out of this, because I'm not going to say that the day of the movies are gone, but they kind of are.
But they put themselves in this position.
Well, sure, but again, there's a lot of other factors now too, right? They did screw themselves, no doubt about it. With people our age, but I'm talking about with the young ones, they don't care either way.
But that's because they screwed us, and we were the ones showing the younger generations. Kids would love fucking Star Wars right now if they didn't cuck it all up, and we would have passed it on to the next generation. But instead, they gave us no reason to pass on anything new. And they did this.
Yeah, see, I'm the complete opposite. I won't give Hollywood a break. Hollywood put themselves on this pedestal to where they think that everything they put out should be gold, and if you don't like it, you're the problem. They started talking down to the audience as opposed to entertaining the audience. They started, yes, they have all these things going on in the world, and they decided, well, let's take our opinions and put that into our entertainment, and that way it'll reach more people, and we'll be able to talk down to our audience in entertainment, in current entertainment, and everything that they're watching. Not only that, but they also do it when they promote the films. They start saying how, oh, this is great, it's going to be promoted, everybody needs to watch this, this is the right message, we're sending the right message. If you don't see this, if you don't take that message in, then you're a this, you're a that. If you don't support the movie, you're a this, you're a that. Yes, they put themselves in this situation. I will not give them a break. I won't offer an olive branch. I think that they could, and they have been showing that there is a way to reach young people with Minecraft, with Five Nights at Freddy's. They know that there's stuff out there. However, when they do make stuff that is aimed towards kids, they end up putting their messaging in their entertainment, with the exception of like Five Nights at Freddy's, Minecraft. All of that was made for kids. It's entertainment for kids. We might not understand it. Like Minecraft, I didn't really particularly like it. I loved Five Nights at Freddy's because that's just the game. It was really good. So they're capable and able to make the entertainment for that younger generation. They just don't want to, or they'll hire the wrong people to create that entertainment, and they'll completely take it, change it, put in some messaging in it, and say like, okay, here, we've washed it up, we've made it politically correct, we've inserted everything that we need to insert into this, and here you go, people, here you go, kids, you're gonna love it, you're gonna love our new version of it. And that's not the way to reach kids. And I think that like kids aren't as stupid as you think. They will see that and be like, yeah, that's not what I like, that's not what I grew up liking, I'm just going to reject it all in beforehand and not even watch it. And now with like the general audience, I think that people are relying on reviewers, on reviews, and saying like, okay, what kind of movie is it? Because it has this direct, people are more aware of what Hollywood is producing, and they're relying on reviews and stuff to decide whether or not they're going to even put in the time and the money, because it is very expensive. It's not like it used to be to go to the movies now, to buy the movie ticket, to get the popcorn. They don't want to invest time and money to go and see these projects if it's not any good, if it's not worth their time. And yes, streaming is there. So if they don't want to invest that time, they're curious about it, they'll freaking wait for it to be on streaming, and not VOD, just regular free streaming. They will wait for it to be on streaming. So I won't give Hollywood grace or an olive branch. They did it to themselves.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm not saying
think
that Hollywood's not to blame for a lot of this shit. I mean, they are, but my point is that there's other factors involved besides the fact of them going woke and going broke, right? Like there's other factors at play.
Well, Chris, you asked about zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Movies used to create a zeitgeist moment. And nowadays we don't have that at all. I was thinking about, because I was talking about a movie I particularly like that came out in 1983 called Liquid Sky. And Liquid Sky is a very odd punk infused science fiction, sex, comedy, fashion. It's a crazy little movie that was made by a Russian director. That came out in 83. In 84, you had Alex Cox making Repo Man. And so there were movies that were both musically, stylistically. Repo Man was set in LA, Liquid Sky was set in New York, and they dealt with different kinds of environments. You had the punk world being examined from two different ways and in two different parts of the country. If you were a cineast, a film fan, these were movies you had to see. Because they were crazy. First of all, they both had aliens in them, and they were punk rock films, and they were dealing with already existing subcultures in weird ways that we hadn't seen before, and put on film, made by people that were not beholden to a studio who told them what they could and couldn't make. Even when you saw people like Steven Soderbergh with his breakthrough Sex, Lies, and Videotape, which was the subject matter was, ooh, that's crazy. A man wants to film women's sex fantasies. And yet that became a fulcrum for the independent film explosion of what became the 90s. And you had Sundance exploding at the time. There is nothing like that in culture anymore. We don't have movies that are defining zeitgeist moments or defining our culture, because one, movies have gotten more expensive to make, and the only thing the studios are doing that even could be considered that is allowing people like Zach Kreger to make a Barbarian and then make a Weapons. And those movies are one man, one guy's vision. Luckily, he made Barbarian, a $4.5 million movie that went on to make $40 million. And Zach did not take the big money and go make Jurassic World 10. He went instead, made a deal with his producer, Roy Lee, $38 million. They went and made Weapons. That movie's made $250 million. So good on Warner Brothers. Same was true of Ryan Coogler. He could have gone and done another tentpole property, but he's like, nope. I'm going to make a favorable deal with Warner Brothers. I'm going to make Sinners. I'm going to make it the way I want to make it. I'm going to make it with my longtime collaborators that have made my big movies or my smaller movies sing. The studio was in bed with him. He had total control. He owns his movie. He called his own shots. Sinners goes on to make $300 million. What we're missing today is those auteurs, those people that we were interested, not necessarily in movies in general, but what those people had to say to culture now. And that's what anime gives you. That's why the creator of One Piece went on to work on the Netflix show, because One Piece is that guy's vision. And what we're missing, especially at the studio level, is visionaries. Christopher Nolan is his own brand. A24 has built a cult of personality around the visions that it's providing to people. Some work, some don't. Sometimes you get an Oscar winner like Everything Everywhere All at Once. Sometimes you get Ari Aster and you get Robert Eggers debuting, or you get Harmony Korine doing Spring Breakers. So what we need is that has to happen at the studio level, or we are lost. We need to find visionary people making visionary movies. That's what people are interested in. They're interested in the voice of creators, and kids today and adults. That's why there's, Kojima-san is so renowned. Death Stranding 2 comes out. That's a guy who makes video games that people love. He's revered. And that's what young people have always wanted. They've wanted authentic voices that they can follow, that mean something, that have something to say to them. And we don't have anybody like that anymore why are tentpole properties made by these journeyman directors, and they feel like the new Jurassic World movie had nothing in it that anyone needed to see? It was all rehash. It was all boring. It wasn't edgy. It had nothing to say, and yet we all flocked to see it, and it made $850 million. But what we need now are visionaries that have something to say to people.
You're going to love his Resident Evil movie, Rob. Zach is going to slay it.
Yeah, but the thing about that is he's doing something. I have the script. I'm just saying.
Well, maybe we'll talk later.
Well, yeah. I think we need visionary executives. We need Laddie, right? Look up that documentary, Laddie. Laddie.
But they're not allowed
on
to.
YouTube.
One mistake will get you fired. Look at where Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca were at Warner Brothers before Minecraft opened.
Yeah.
Oh, Joker too.
Well, look, I could talk about this one topic the whole show.
Well, I mean, just add one thing. We're missing comedies.
Paul. Yes. Although I just saw a trailer, it hasn't hit YouTube yet. Farkham Hall, which is a parody of British period dramas, that looks.
I heard about it.
I saw the trailer. It looks great. I saw it before Spinal Tap 2, which I thought was very good. It was not a disappointment. So,
Chris, before you move on, just because I didn't want to interrupt anyone, a big thing that we're all missing here is that all the culture war stuff that we've dealt with in the West has completely compromised and ruined a lot of the visions. It's why we don't get independent creators, right? Because they can't offend anyone, DEI, all the fun things. But for the most part, that hasn't happened in the East. So all the manga, because if I say manga, I'll get yelled at. All the manga is still uncorrupted. And that's why it still has a lot of traditional hero characters and values and all the things. And so that is resonating, because it turns out that always resonates if you just do it. So now the concern will be that being turned mainstream and corrupted, like we have corrupted every single thing. I'm not saying don't watch, just saying that is now the concern. So gatekeep, people.
Get ready for the Star Wars remake. The original trilogy will get remade, but it will be done anime style. Mark my words. People have been saying for years they're going to remake the original trilogy. Yes, in anime.